Hello. In today's video, I will show the process of developing a lifting plan, and the various considerations that should to be incorporated throughout the planning stage. The development of a lifting plan, including the utilization of a crane, requires careful assessment of multiple aspects in order to guarantee both the safety and effectiveness of the operation. The following are some of the most typical things that you must be considering when developing a lifting plan. The first thing to do is to understand the load. In order to choose the proper lifting equipment and rigging equipment, it is essential to take into consideration the weight of the load. To guarantee that the lifting capacity of the lifting equipment is not exceeded, it is necessary to have knowledge of the load weight. Next, we need to take into account the dimensions of the load that needs to be lifted. It is important that you have information of the dimensions, specifically the height, width, and length. The next consideration is the lifting point of the load. During the planning stage, it is important to carefully consider how you want to secure or rig the load during lifting. The center of gravity of a load plays a critical role in the safe and efficient hoisting using lifting equipment. The center of gravity represents the point at which the entire weight of the object is concentrated. Hoisting a load with an uneven distribution of weight or an off-center of gravity can lead to instability and tipping, potentially causing accidents or damage to property and equipment. Understanding the characteristics of a load, including whether it is being hoisted horizontally or vertically, is critical for safe and efficient lifting operations. The orientation of the load affects the rigging configuration, and or if required to lifting equipment to make it vertical. Hoisting a load horizontally requires different rigging setups compared to hoisting it vertically. Knowing the load orientation ensures that the rigging and lifting equipment is designed and applied correctly for safe lifting. Next, site assessment. Determine the location of the load that has to be raised, as well as whether the load should be hoisted on the ground level or in the elevated level. With this information, you will be able to determine the necessary length of the boom for lifting. Assessing the ground conditions is crucial for lifting operations to ensure safety, stability, and the overall success of the lift. A firm and level ground surface provides a stable foundation for the lifting equipment, reducing the risk of tipping or sinking during lifting. Uneven or soft ground can result in uneven weight distribution under the crane's outriggers or supports. Proper ground assessment helps identify potential hazards during lifting. Mobilization. Site access for lifting equipment is important things for planning stage. Site access allows lifting equipment to be transported to the location where lifting operations will take place. Proper access roads and pathways are necessary to accommodate the size and weight of lifting equipment. Adequate site access enables cranes to be positioned and set up in the desired location for lifting operations. The availability of clear and accessible areas minimizes obstacles and facilitates crane assembly and stabilization. Lifting equipment selection. After determining the total load that has to be lifted, the weight of the load, the weight of the hook block, and the weight of the rigging, you will be able to select the appropriate crane size for lifting base from the lifting equipment load chart provided by the manufacturer. Base in the drawing provided by client, or site assessment. You will be able to determine the required boom length for lifting, as well as the lifting radius at which you will pick up the load and the final landing place. These are important points to consider for choosing lifting equipment. Once you have acquired all this information, you may proceed to choose the right type of lifting equipment for your specific task.